Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to Strategos. A very interesting little game that currently has a demo up on Steam with the ongoing Wargame celebration fest thingy-bob that they've got going. With a very intriguing combat system that reminds me a great deal of the, what were they called again? The, Field of Glory, I think. The Field of Glory games, and the subsequent, also the campaign styles for those games. Immediately, there are going to be some problems there, and that this game is a little limited in scope, shall we say. The demo only has historical battle simulators. It has a campaigns tab right there, but they're not really campaigns as you would think of them. They are campaigns in that I believe they will have one mission followed by another mission followed by another mission. As I believe the developer, unless he's changed his mind very recently, has stated that there won't be a grand campaign-style system, which is unfortunate. There will also not be multiplayer, which is also rather unfortunate. Granted, it's being developed by a single guy with limited resources and so on, but I do wonder how much appeal there will be for the general public for a game that is skirmish AI only. Right, without too much further ado, let's get into it, shall we? The demo has, they've just added a fourth faction I see there. The Macedonians, the Macapacedonians, the Macedonians, the Macapacedonians. Nobody likes the Macedonians, they're assholes. We've got 3 maps. I'll take the grassy flatland for now. Macapacedonians, the Polybian Rome, Carthaginian, late, and the Pyrrhic at the moment. We shall ask chat for its opinions. The full game is supposed to have quite a few factions, along with their allies as well. And you do have allies, so you can go up here, I believe, and pick allies. Now, at the moment, I don't think you can deck build. Not properly, at least, but you will see that some of them have a little number next to them. So you could, for example, choose to get rid of the light archers and replace them with light javelin men, or the thuero hopohor hoi 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 hois, for example. But no full deck building in the game yet. I do hope there will be. I would assume there would be, basically, deck building eventually, with certain limitations so that you can't take a, all-cavalry army or something, I suppose. But even now, you can choose between some different things, like the hoplites are heavy infantry, the are medium infantry, and the raw hoplites are heavy, but they're shit, but you get 2 of them, which is kind of nice. I see we're voting for Rome immediately, are we? You boringly predictable little Romaboo dogs. How dare you? Always the Remans. The goddamn Remans. What are you, gay? You probably are. Statistically speaking, we've got like a ratio of 1 in 3 being a gay person these days, so a frightening number of you are probably aggressively homosexual. Oh, that can stay. 47% drone? 40... God damn it. Fucking Romaboos. Very well. Do anything cool here. Brutiani. What was that does give him? What does that mean? Italian foot veterans, eh? Italian foot, light javelin, Italian cavalry veterans. Compared to Equites and Velites. And the Campiani. Italian hoplites. Fun fact, the Romans initially started out as a hoplite faction, like everybody else did, basically. Loads of hoplites. Light javelin. Okay, so it's mostly, like, slight change to the cavalry, I guess, and some hoplites. I'll stick with the regular good old-fashioned Remans, then. Remans versus Pyrrhic. I mean, that's a classic matchup, if nothing else. Sure. Remans. We was Remans and shit. Don't worry, it hasn't crashed. I think. Relatively certain. There you go. So, the battle map, fairly standard fare. Decent degree of model accuracy, or well, actually, fidelity, honestly. Like, this looks entirely acceptable, graphically speaking. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, I kind of like the, mono colors, you know, the singular colors. I kind of like that. I actually kind of like that. What do we got? We have 2 units of equites, which are both generals. The Romans were never very good at the whole horses thing. I don't believe the game has control groups yet, which is mildly upsetting. We do have plenty of command. We have a couple of units of triarii, and then we've got the usual hastati principes up front. Now, traditionally, of course, the little hastati would be in the front, followed by the principes, and the triarii to the rear, and then we have 4 units of velites to the front. All right. Fair enough, fair enough. All of this is impact foot. Yes, it is. All right. What are we up against? Phalanxes, I see. Alright, phalanxes, huh? Always unfortunate, that. Always unfortunate, that. And an assload of cavalry. Right. Right. This is gonna be tough. Alright, we'll reorganize the Hastati and the Principes in a straightforward line. We've got some mercenary hoplites. Not great odds against any of this, honestly. We have light cavalry, hippies, light cavalry, armored cavalry. Alright, so the triarii are kind of going to be busy guarding the flanks here, which is also non-ideal, as you would prefer to have the triarii as reserves for the front line. But that don't look like it gonna happen. So, one little interesting thing is, you can only command your units within the command radius of a commander. So within this radius, you can basically shout to the troops and get them to carry out their orders. If, however, they are further away than shouting distance, you will have to send out little couriers, like you can see these guys doing right here. You have a set amount of couriers, like the Romans have an assload of couriers, because they're really good at this stuff. Other factions are nowhere near as good at this stuff, and will have far fewer couriers. And some factions will have smaller and bigger command. Bubbles. There you go. I would love to send the velites out to try and cockblock the cavalry, honestly. But I mean, I've got principes. They've got decent protection against against arrows, so I'm going to dispatch one of my equites and 2 velites, along with the Triarii formation, on my left flank. I love the solid little block formations. I do like that quite a bit. And we're just going to have to deal with the armored cavalry there. And these 2 velites will shield our mainline infantry against the enemy's light archers, leaving it to this formation of equites to keep command of the front line, which they should be plenty able to do. Just make sure we're in command range of everything. Now, light cavalry, of course, will run straight over velites if given an opportunity to do so, but we are not necessarily going to give them an opportunity to do so, now are we? I'm more worried about the armored cavalry, honestly, if anything. The Triarii will provide a little bit of safety. The combat, as you will soon see, is a bit different than what you might be imagining upon seeing all of this. This is not Total War combat by any stretch of the imagination. One of the interesting things is that units can act without orders. Say, for example, that you've got a unit in a nice defensive position, right? And then you send up some skirmishers to start picking at that unit. In a Total War game, your unit will simply hold their ground regardless of anything else that's going on, because that's what they do, they hold their ground, that's all. In this game, however, you can actually antagonize a reaction from the enemy. If you walk up to them and start shooting them, the enemy might decide that they're better off trying to charge you rather than simply standing by and, seeing what's going to happen. And they managed to touch both of those units, which is mildly annoying. This is what is so... Oh my god, Well, okay, I am getting maximum unlucky so far. I have managed to have my equites disorganized. And this unit is now charging ahead, because it too has decided that it doesn't like orders. It is not fond of orders, and so it has charged whilst disorganized into the enemy's hippes. And suddenly, my entire left flank is basically gone. Because, as I just said, sometimes your units will do stuff entirely on their own directive. The Roman equites, in particular, are very, very headstrong. The Roman equites were made up mostly of the sons of nobility and so on. And so they were often interested in trying to find glory on the battlefield. Now, you should be falling back, but you're not willing to fall back because... you're a young son of nobles, and you wouldn't want to be fleeing the battle or anything, even if you are going to guarantee your own defeat by staying there. Which can make them very, very difficult to control, and which will get them killed as well. The formation, as you can see by the F symbol there, is currently shattered. It is a fragmented formation. Who wins and loses combat in this game is not determined by how many dudes is left in the formation. It is determined by the organization of the formation. Yeah, my left flank is just completely gone. Due to that one act of idiocy, the left flank is just gone. Just fucking gone. My velites are desperately trying to maintain a front line against the enemy's vastly numerically superior skirmishers. It is not going to work out well for them, but so long as they're keeping the integrity of my Hastati and Principes, it's better than nothing. Now, that unit has taken a bunch of damage, so at least I have dealt with one of the enemy's light skirmishers on the flank, which is nice. The Velites have done about as well as you can expect from them. They've managed to maintain their formation halfway well. They're starting to get disrupted now, but yeah, God, yeah, the entire flank is just gone. Right. Time to start ordering some engagements for my front line. This is heavy impact foot. I do not want to be charged. I want to do the charging. And hopefully the Triadi can hold off the enemy on the side there. Right, good. The hoplites have been disorganized on impact, which is very, very nice. Unfortunately, that unit too has decided to act without orders and has gotten its flank exposed there, which is not great. The Triadi are engaged with the Greek armored cavalry. When you hover over them, you can see their chance to win and lose. Now, Triadi are, of course, solid elite fighters, so they're going to do quite well. My Hastati are becoming disorganized, which is not good. Excellent. I've broken the hoplites there in the center. That is very, very nice. And they will deal with the Greek armored cavalry. Excellent. Okay, so that is something. Right. Keep the Triadi turned. We are going to win the right-hand fight. The enemy front line is not doing great, which is very good, very good. Triadi, you're going to keep an eye on the Hippeses over there. That's disorganized too, and that is dispersed. Fantastic. Right. The front line is doing quite well, and you will see as well, the front line moves too. Units will organically push back other units. When you win combat, you might move the enemy. And due to the fact that the front line, of course, is only semi-static, that means that right now, for example, with the enemy being pushed back in the center, I am opening up a potential opportunity for my Hastati to flank the Pezzatoroi over here. Which is exactly what I'm going to try to do. Right. The enemy's cavalry is moving around my rear. I will never catch them with the Triadi. That's never happening, but I am just trying to keep them. Ah, God, they got disorganized by flanking fire there. There. Wonderful. But I am just trying to keep them from charging my rear lines. That is all I'm interested in right now. Because they have more cavalry than me, I am always going to be in a bit of a shit position here, because I'm going to need to dedicate my own infantry units to blocking their cavalry, which is very, very far from ideal. This also means that they've sent in their general there. So we are going to send that into a flank attack. You don't really want to be using Equites for anything, honestly. Equites are near universally shit. They are the pampered sons of nobles. And that's it. You're not going to be relying on them to do much of anything, frankly. Alright, that unit has been dispersed. We are going to send that unit to re-engage that. The Hastati. This is turning into just an enormous clusterfuck over here. Alright, the Principes should deal well with the enemy because they are fractured. You still, yeah. I hate having to use my fucking Triadi to chase cavalry, but It is either that or have an entire formation of enemy infantry or enemy cavalry, slam its way into my ass. So, it is what it is. There we go. And eventually, enough of their armor will break to give you victory. As you can tell already, this is very, very, very different for Total War combat. There is no necessarily fixed front line. The front line moves, and the front line will allow you to carry out, like, for example, right there, due to the enemies moving, I was able to flank around them and break one of their phalanxes in front. This means that the battle is constantly updating and changing. Even if you have an organized front line, there is no guarantee it's going to remain organized for any length of time. I love that. It's my biggest complaint with Total War games is that the battles are always the same. Always the same. You draw your dudes out in the line, the AI draw their dudes out in a line, and they all congregate towards the center. And so it's a big fucking ball of dudes every time. And there is rarely, if ever, any reason to keep a reserve. Here, there is every reason to keep a reserve. However, you cannot overlap units. If you try to do the Total War thing of putting one unit on top of another unit, you will disorganize your units, causing more damage than good, meaning that reserves are actually reserves in this context, rather than simply another block of dudes that you toss into a fight. Much ashamed. Greetings, Buster. We have clips. I never said Buster Sword. I never said Buster Sword, you little gaslighting shits. And Sandoom, imagine this game with Skaven. Would be glorious. Oh, yes. I mean, honestly, this combat system can be applied to virtually anything very, very easily, so I'm very, very happy with it. But again, it needs a grand campaign mode. It needs a grand campaign mode. Right, we'll let chat vote on another faction. And this time I'm taking Rome off the list, you lazy little shits. There. And we'll do Rolling Hills today, yes. Hello, Yanovich. How are you doing today? Flashbacks of ordering entire armies, a single bolob down the enemy gate choke point. Yep. You would not be able to do that in this game. The units actually do have a degree of solidity here, and stacking unit upon units will only screw you over. Alex Adamson for 5. Thank you, sir. My biggest problem with Total War has always been morale. Units will stand and fight to the last man. In reality, you run after 10% casualties. Well, sometimes. Not always, but what I like about this system is that casualties are largely irrelevant. Of course, while as a unit takes a buttload of casualties, it will become unsteady, it will become nervous. But what matters is organization. If you've got 50 guys, but they're all in a dense, ordered formation, they will happily take on 100 dudes charging in a loose mob. That is the entire reason why the Romans ass-rolled everyone in Gaul and France and Germany and all this nonsense, you know? Gaul and France, yes. And that also means that there is a reason to try and pull back units to try and reorganize them. It also adds in a wonderful degree of randomosity to the battle, because sometimes units will perform far better than you think they would, and sometimes they'll perform far worse than you think they would. I cannot make the clicking louder. I'm sorry. I can't make the clicking softer either. I know every click is loud as fuck, but I could reduce the volume. No, the clicks are just as loud. I know, chat. The clicks are fucking loud. I hear the clicks too. The clicks are absurdly loud, but you're just gonna have to fucking suffer. Okay? There are 2 volume sliders, music and volume. That's it. Suffer, chat. Suffer. Carthaginians. Okay. Carthaginians. Well, okay. It's time to fuck some Romans, lads, with the Numidians. Yes. It's time for Italy to suffer the fate of modern-day Italy. Far too many brown people. Make the clicks blow our head jumps out. I wish I could make them louder, chat, for you. Right, let's see. So, mounted brown people. The scourge of all civilizations. Unironically, the scourge of all fucking civilizations. There. For infantry, we've got, not much, honestly. We've got a couple blocks of Libyan heavy spearmen, which is nice. We've got a unit of Phoenician foot, which is also nice. Medium infantry. We've got some Scutari, which are Iberian infantry, and we've got some Gauls. 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 Right, very well. The Phoenicians and the Scutari will naturally be in the forest. There we go. Libyan heavy foot will be outside the forest, and the Gallic warband will be on our flank. The North African light javelinmen will be in front. Terrain. Terrain is very important. Heavy infantry will roll just about everything in the open, but they take massive penalties in terrain, where medium infantry will not just be able to fight heavy infantry, but might very well actually roll the heavy infantry as well. So terrain is very important, but you can also actually tease enemy units out of terrain. So even if the enemy is sitting in terrain that is not favorable to you, well, what you do is you send in skirmishes to annoy the enemy out of it, instead of charging in your own heavy infantry to get slaughtered. Remans. God hated the Remans so much, he sent the Carthaginians to hurt them.
Trick or treat, can I smell your feet?
It's true, God did hate the Remans. Buffachu has been for 22 months. Thank you, sir. Only 2 more months and you get the new cool icon. Do you think you will get time to give Expedition 33 a go? Met a character on there today with a foot fetish to rival Lum Lum. It's worth a look for your information. I've been peeking at it a little bit. I'm not normally the world's biggest fan of JRPGs, and from what I've heard, that apparently is a bit of what that game is, like a bit of like a Western JRPG almost, so I'm a tiny bit skeptical just due to that. Go, horses! Annoy the shit out of the Remans over there! Oh. And off they go! Utterly uninterested in all of the enemy infantry. Go, stick wielders, go! Organizing my main front line is going to be a bit of a challenge with all of my dudes so far out forward, but that's fine. Probably. We'll find out if it actually is fine or not. I am confident in my annoying Nubians' ability to be incredibly annoying. Now, the Remans do have nice big Reman shields, which means that the Remans are fairly well protected from the annoyance of sticks being thrown at them, but not as well protected as they would want to be. Oh no, not at all. Oh. And there you see, goaded. Now, goaded, exactly as the word seems to imply, means that the unit has been goaded into some form of charge or action by an enemy unit. And my little Carthaginians actually managed to get themselves caught there. Oh, fucking Carthaginians. Carthaginians! Okay, that's not the end of the universe, however, because that is just a unit of equites. And whilst the Carthaginians are only light infantry, light cavalry, excuse-moi, equites are just garbage. Equites are just actually unironically fucking garbage. Like, just actually atrociously bad. Equites are so bad, you can't even fully understand how bad equites are, okay? The Romans didn't have bad cavalry. The Romans had the worst cavalry. I'll begin to put you in a little bit of a nice position there.
I have lost.
I'm not loving the fact that the Triari are able to almost get in on this, however. That is not great. The Velites are getting beaten up, which is nice. Getting a tiny bit worried about my front line there. There we go. There's the Equites. Right. Come with me. There goes the Equites, taking one of the enemy's generals along with them. Why did you decide to fight the enemy's fucking heavy infantry? Ah, it's because you're the Phoenician cavalry. Well, leave as soon as possible, my little idiots. There you go. You should not be there. Leave-oo, now-oo. I have not managed to disorganize the enemy infantry anywhere near as much as I would have wanted to, which I do not love. I do not love that, I do not adore that, and I do not approve of that. But I've done some annoyance. Alright, let's begin getting the commanders back over here, where they'll be able to send out orders more rapidly to the infantry, now that our front lines are beginning to close in on each other. This, of course, also means that it's going to take ages to give new orders to my Numidians, but, well, the Numidians seems like they're plenty busy anyway, so they're already tying down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 enemy units. I'm happy with them. They're doing their job. Doing their job. Right. The Romans have lost basically all of their skirmishes due to the incredibly annoying Numidian cavalry skirting around them and peeing on them in a most aggressive fashion. Which means that they're going to have to charge into the heavy woodland against my Phoenician foot and Scutari, which is not good for them. And they're also going to have to engage the Libyan spearmen in a position that is very, very beneficial to the Libyans. Now, they are still Remans, You should always bear that in mind. The Remans are still Reman. And the Remans should thus never be underestimated. Ah, nice. Fragmented. Excellent. Well, my Libyan spearmen got immediately disorganized, which is not great. Ah, lovely. Lovely, 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 lovely. Alright, you guys, you are getting charged by the enemy's infantry there. I am fine with that. Right. Carry out a pursuit of those fleeing troops. They're tossing their equites into the front line. Oh, they're chasing some poor Numidians. Goddamn. Silly little Numidians. The Libyan foot are not doing well. Nor are the Gauls. Right. It's not perfect. But the Phoenicians and the Scutari managed to break their enemies. So it's time to start moving around. Oof, the Gauls! The fucking Gauls! Oh god, the Gauls! The Gauls! Fucking Gauls! Cowardly shits! Okay. The fucking Gauls. What do we do here? Fucking Gauls! Right. Reorganize those. The Libyan spearmen are not going to do well here. Try to get the medium infantry back into a position of cover. Alright, they will have a terrain advantage. They're disorganized, good. Get those in there. The very, very poor performance of the Libyans have caused me a tremendous amount of trouble here. There goes the Libyans again. Libyan spearmen that time. Leaving me with only the Scutari as mainline infantry. The Remans. The fucking Remans. Gonna have to get a little bit desperate here. They are fragmented. If only the Phoenician cavalry could break this unit of Principes. They've got a good chance of doing so. They just haven't really been able to yet. Ah, fucking Christ, that was close. That was close. Let me guess, they finally broke in the center? Yes, they did. Fucking Remans! Never underestimate the fucking Remans, I swear to God. There's a reason why the Remans conquered the entire world. That is why. Their heavy infantry is fucking scary, Jesus. They got harassed the entire way across the entire field by foreigners with sticks, and they still managed to beat the shit out of my heavy infantry. Hi. Ian Brune, your comment about homeschooling yesterday. It's actually public schools which have lost the fight. We've been racking up ever larger wins for decades. Same situation as with the Second Amendment. Good. Alex Anderson, for the most part, winning a battle is about confidence. If your men think they'll lose, they'll run first chance they get. Confident men will stand. They will. Mark James Super Chat test, is YouTube shadow censoring this? Not at the moment. I can see it. They said, Ripper, you are thoroughly incorrect, Arch. Go read about the Aurelius from the 3rd century. Republican Roman cavalry was trash, but Imperial Roman cavalry was peak. I don't know about that. The Romans have always had shit fucking horses. Right, that leaves us with the Macedonians and the Phrygians. I guess we'll try and find Carthaginians, maybe? I think, do they have elephants yet? They don't have elephants yet, do they? They don't. How very sad for them. A total tragedy. A total tragedy indeed. Macedonians. 65%. Nobody wants the poor Epirus people, huh? Nobody wants the Phrygians? Poor Phrygians. Macedonians. Okay, what kind of allies? They have Illyrian allies. Scythians, basically. Right. Thoroptrai Iswani. Skirmish dudes, eh? Slingers or Pisuli. And Illyrian cavalry, which comes in for phalanx. Changing out a cav unit for changing out a phalanx for a cav unit. Oi, that sounds a bit rough. But I'm noticing I have dick all in the way of skirmishes, do I? I've got 2 light javelinmen and a couple units of Greek light cavalry. That is it. Ouch. That's kind of nasty. Yeah, I think I'm going to take my allies here, honestly. Yes, I think I'll take my allies. In the desert lowlands. Don't worry, it hasn't crashed. Probably. There we are. Alright, so 2 units of slingers, 2 units of light javelinmen, an absolute assload of heavy infantry. The Thorokatrai are medium. Okay, medium. Okay, 4 units of medium infantry as well. Nice. That's actually quite a lot of medium infantry. So 4 units of big, nice, elite, heavy infantry phalanxes. Nice. Always nice. And a bunch of mediums. Not exactly the kind of terrain that lends itself the most effectively to a massive medium infantry, I will say, but perhaps if we take the offensive a little bit today. Illyrian cavalry, what are you, undisciplined? Oh, goody. Impetuous. Right, these fuckers will charge off, chasing down anything that looks at them sideways. Brilliant. What am I up against? 3 units of heavy infantry from the Libyan spearmen, Gaelic warband, and Scutari. All right. Illyrian Cav. Let's have the Thorokotoi change flanks. Give me a little bit of a guard against their Cav stuff. As I'm worried that I don't see more than this. I'm pretty sure they have more than this. Which just means that I need to find it. Tempted to send out my skirmishers early. Although, they do have some light cav. You do not want to send out infantry towards cavalry. Pretty much never. It's practically never a good idea. Right. I need to calm down on the relocation. I keep forgetting this is not a total war game. If you keep issuing countless little tiny orders to order things to change a little bit or whatever, you will exhaust your couriers, as these are not the Romans. These are Macedonians, and they've only got 10 couriers, which is a lot less. Painful lot less. Slingers have less range than I was hoping for, I will say. Oh, God, that's a lot of cavalry. Alright. Well, I'm hoping that the Illyrians will be able to maybe take on some of that. Two cavalry veterans. Readjust the pikes just a tiny bit backwards. And we should be good. All right. They do not have as many skirmishes as I do, so we're going to try and chase off some of their skirmishes, first and foremost, so that we can try and switch some of them over to the flanks, where they have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of cavalry. Not ideal. I'm hoping the slingers will be nice and effective. Slingers were historically very effective against enemy light units. Couple points of damage. Nothing exceptional, but it'll get the job done if I pour it on long enough. They have been goaded into advancing. Yeah, that unit is going to get absolutely fucking slam-hammered like this. If I get very lucky, I might fragment it. I won't have to worry about it anymore. Every time you see a red damage number, that's basically a crit. Crits can cause a drop in organizations. They are very, 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 very good. You guys don't have javelins, do you? No, you do not. That is a tiny bit upsetting. So it would have been great if you had javelins. Well, if you want to do a little bit of skirmishing, I am happy to comply, as I'm pretty sure I'll be winning that exchange. No drop in organization yet, though, which is unfortunate. Comes the light cavalry. We should begin falling these back. I mean, it would be lovely if they could go to the light cav onto my pikes, but yeah, they're not going to be stupid enough to do that. Scutari are moving in to attack. That is... Ah, god damn it. Disorganized on the fucking charge, huh? Non-ideal. Oh, god, that is so much fucking cav. Alright, pikes. Uh-oh. Don't push them too far away, little pikes. Do not push them too far away. Yeah, no. Careful there. Ugh, disorganized again. God, okay. Right, the left flank is not doing well. These poor Thorakatai are just gonna have to get their asses kicked for a while. They're just gonna have to suck it up and eat it. That's all that's gonna happen. They're just gonna keep getting their asses whooped. You're in there. That unit's fragmented. Good, good. There, perfect. Okay, that is one unit on the left flank taken care of. Right, you do not need to fall back anymore. You can enter pushback mode. Crush that unit. Excellent. The pikes are doing very, very well. Right, you guys are going to need to face off against the cavalry. Keep pace. Move to support. Guard mode. Don't go any further than that. Oh god, the Thorakatai are not looking good. Okay. Get the javelins over there. No, Gorlick Warband. Fuck. Okay. My hippies have decided on their own to charge in, which did disorder that unit of Libyan spearmen, which is nice, but it has also left them in a somewhat uncomfortable position. Poor Thorakatai. They're just getting their fucking shit stomped in. Okay, let's see if the Illyrians can maybe grab a hold of the Numidians. Right, the Chalcibides. I'm gonna do a bit of a risk here and try and push them in against the enemy's rear to try and break the center before the Thorakatai are completely decimated by just masses of fucking javelins. These poor bastards, they haven't even gotten to fight. They just exist to have their shit kicked in by javelins. That is the only reason why they are alive. They live to get pin-cushioned, and that's it. Alright. Get ready to turn around and face off against that. Front line has broken. Excellent. Right, you two, chase that down. Reform the pikes to the front. My other general, is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. He's very, very dead. He's very, very dead. He decided to charge off without orders and got himself fucking surrounded. He is very, very dead. My goals have been a big pain in my ass so far. Oh, God damn it. Fucking cavalry. Oh my god, these fucking goals today. How the hell are you being this annoying? Come on, you're just Gauls. You shouldn't be this much of a problem. Oh my god, fragmented? You really? Seriously? Oh, Jesus. Well, that one Gaul warband has routed like 3 units now, I think, which is pretty disastrous. It's not a bad fight, actually. The other units are just, again, standing there getting their fuck kicked in. Oh, God. There we go. Best laid plans of mice and men. I was fairly confident in the left flank there. Until that one Gaul unit managed to somehow defeat like 3 fucking units by itself. And the right flank was just a tale of abject sadness from beginning to end. And that leaves just the Pyrrhic. Pyrrhic versus Roman, classic matchup. What kind of Italian hoplites? Armored cavalry, Tarentine cavalry, cavalry veterans. Light archers. Samnite. Ooh, tribals. Yeah, but... I mean, They're not quite Principes, but they're close. Mercenary hoplites, I'd rather not. Tarentine. Let's try the Tarentine. Against more Remans. This is why this game needs a campaign mode so bad. Because the battles are nice and tense. Like, the battles are genuinely tense. Because you never know what's going to happen from second to second. You might think that your mass of medium foot in advantageous terrain will do very well against the enemy, which they outnumber. You might think they're gonna absolutely crush them. And then reality sets in. It's like, oh, all of my dudes have been slaughtered. Right. And you've got to toss around the phalanxes to try and get some sense of order back in place. This time, I have an assload of cavalry. Nice. But no medium infantry. All right, so we're going to be meeting the Romans in the open field, are we? I don't like the sound of that, but it is what it is. So, Greek armored cav, Italian armored cav, and 2 generals. And a buttload of skirmishers. Right. Buttload of skirmishers will be placed on the right flank. Along with... You're not impetuous, are you? You are. Oh, God. Okay. Right, so the cavalry might decide to fuck off and get itself killed, but what else is new? Go, annoying horse boys! 4 units of Velites, 2 units of Equites, 2 of Triadi, 3 Principes, 3 Hastati. Right, I want to drive off one of those melee units before we clash, if at all possible. Right, all of you are steady infantry, no aggressive infantry. Good. Definitely want to lead off the Triarii. That's my first priority. And we'll send the Greek light cav to do that. Because they are utterly and completely expendable. Nobody will care about them. Nobody will miss them. You two will go annoy the skirmishes. No, the Triarii. Bit more to the side there. I don't like how their front line is stretching out. Don't like that at all. Right, you're keeping the Triarii busy for the time being. Good. Tarentine cavalry got a little bit impatient. Decide they're going to try and chase down some skirmishes. I am fine with this. Indeed, I find this rather desirable. So long as they don't impact with the Principes, that is. I would find that very undesirable. Good, good. Keep chasing them. Ah, you got the Equites on your ass, did you? Oh, good job. Drag them away as far as you can. If the enemy can't issue orders, they can't be that much of a threat. Right, Tarentines, you're getting a little bit beat up. Oh, you're gonna go and try and annoy my cavalry, are you? Don't. Uh-oh. Don't get impatient now. Right. One unit of Astarte have been disordered. Very nice. Yeah, the Tarentine unit got picked up in a little bit of a dumb position. I kept ordering it to go through, and it's decided to not do any of that. Which is not great. Alright, screw it. Looks like we're going to be readdressing the front line. Very well. We've got time for that. I am very upset that I have not been able to lead those Triarii off. That is going to be a problem. That is going to be a big problem. Hoplites. What are you doing, Hoplites? Are you being silly? You are. You're being very silly. Okay, let's have you fall back. Cavalry. Alright, that unit did reorganize itself, which is a bit unfortunate. send in the Italian hoplites into the Principes. Ah, disordered. Perfect. Right, do you want to turn? You do not want to turn. Good. This is... I am not liking the look of this, if I'm to be honest with you. This is turning into too much of a straight-up infantry confrontation, and I am not at all 100% confident I am going to win that straight-up infantry fight. That was very useful, though. Breaking those was a very, very big deal. And they're going to screw up my formations here quite a bit, which I don't like. Ah, my impetuous cavalry decided to charge into the enemy. Exceedingly non-ideal. Extraordinarily non-ideal. I can toss my own cavalry into their flanks and hopefully screw them over a bit. I can. Disordered versus fragmented, not great. And now they can bounce back and forth and disorder all of my units there. Yeah, the moment this turned into an infantry fight, I have problems. Large problems. Massive fucking problems. Everything is fucking routing. Yep, I think I'm screwed. The moment this turned into an infantry fight, and I didn't manage to disorder a single one of their infantry units. Oh, well. That was a lot of bad luck, a lot of bad rolls there, so I'll take that somewhat on the chin. But that's what happens in this game. Sometimes all the skirmishers in the world simply just aren't going to achieve what you want them to achieve. In which case, you're then going to be facing off against a bunch of heavy infantry that will simply roll right the fuck over you. Because they're a lot better at you than that. In fact, my cavalry also decided, so very, very abruptly, to throw itself into the enemy's front line was not great either. Yeah, I can't even break them. Oh, yeah. Fragmented. Oh, God, yeah, the infantry just fucking folded. I'm surprised the light cavalry somehow managed to get fragmented whilst fighting against the enemy's general. That's weird. They must have caught them somehow. Alright, chase down some velites. That unit is not long for this world, surrounded on all fucking sides as it is. And once that breaks, I think that's gonna be me broken. And Equite is still charging around. At least this unit of little Principes are having a bad day, but they're about the only ones. God damn it, break already, you're surrounded. Not to be fair, everyone's surrounded. Yep, there we go. Oh, that was terrible. Let me try that again. Wait, did YouTube stop updating? YouTube? You did stop updating! Oh, goddammit, YouTube. Endowment, wow, push and pull mechanics. Looks a total war. I know! You'd think they'd have implemented that by now, but no, they have not. What about just the basics, dudes, then? Light archers, prezoi, cavalry, grey light cavalry, light archers. Let's try that. It is annoying that they haven't had that in Total War yet, that there is no maneuvering in the battle phase. It's upsetting is what it is. Monster Huntsman, 97, Art, have you seen the Cyberpunk 2077 arcade game? I swear CD Projekt Red must be desperate to get whatever sort of income they can get. I haven't seen it. CD Projekt Red are still doing fairly well, aren't they? I would think so, at least. Right, so... sort of the same loadout, but I do have 2 more units of pikes this time, which is nice. And heavy infantry. Right, so what have I got? So these are both aggressive spears. Okay. The defensive pikes will be in the middle. The aggressive spears will be on the left, along with the cavalry. Oh, do I only have 1 commander this time? Oh, that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Okay. Oh, no, I have 2. Thank God. Alright, go skirmishes. Right, so the plan is going to be hold them with the right flank and try to get a break on the left flank. That's the Principes. That's Principes, Astarte. Okay, actually, I would like to reverse that. Because there are slightly softer targets on the other side. The difference between aggressive spears and like just heavy infantry spears and pikes, there are basically 2 types of spearmen. There are steady spears and there are aggressive spears. Steady spears are defensive, as their name implies. Aggressive spears need to be charging, so they're basically shock infantry. In the same way that heavy infantry is dependent upon just heavy infantry, in which case, again, your job is mostly to stand and take it, or your impact foot, in which case, again, you are charge units. Alright. You impetuous? Impetuous? Impetuous, right. I was thinking I could maybe send some of the cavalry down to mess with the light infantry, but I have begun to learn my lesson to not send impetuous cavalry near the enemy. It very rarely ends well for the cavalry. Very rarely, if ever, ends well for the cavalry. Against Velites, it's mainly based on range. So units that have ranged attacks are more effective the closer they are to the, relative effective range they're using. So I'm disordered. So in a fight like this, the archers will be better at longer range than the javelin men, who needs to get closer to get the full effect out of their weapons. Tarts. You're being dumb and not following the triadi, and that upsets me. And 1 disorder for 1 disorder is not great. Two disorders, that's better. God, again, the Triari are just sitting there on my flank, and I hate it. Right, leave the cavalry there. And we'll move the more combat-oriented cavalry onto our flanks. Get the archers back. Again, I haven't really been able to disorganize any of them, which means we're going to have to fight in melee again. We will have the aggressive spears. Oh my god, disorder. Fuck. Well, this is going to be a good old-fashioned repeat of the last time, isn't it? Yes, yes, holy fuck. Oh my god, okay, well, all of my aggressive spear were disorganized the moment they impacted the enemy, so that is great, and... Oh, this is so done before it even began. Oh my god, okay. Oh, Jesus. Right, well, at least I oh god, this is so fucking over already. Holy shit. Right, well, so much for that. My aggressive shock spear got absolutely fuck-routed before anything even happened. Brilliant. Yep, the entire flank is already... Yep. Jesus! Welcome to the world of RNG. Ah, Romans. Romans, motherfucking Romans. Is there any way I can deal with that? 50-50 pin rate. I am 100% with everything that isn't the fucking poor little, the Pyrrhics. The Pyrrhics have a really hard time against the Romans because it's all heavy infantry and nothing beats the Romans in heavy infantry. Would the Samnites help? I do not think the Samnites would help. I don't think the Samnites would help much. In fact, I think the Samnites would make it worse. Let's try the Samnites for shits and giggles. Okay, medium infantry. Well, having medium infantry is actually very nice, because that means I can at least utilize the terrain advantage a little bit. Alright, we've got aggressive spears, charge spears, and our usual pikes. So 2 units of aggressive spears, 2 pikes, 2 mediums. Now, last time, the aggressive spears did not do very well, so... I'll have to use them for what they're worth. I have still 2 units of Greek light cavalry, and 1 unit of Greek armored cavalry. Alright. We'll focus a bit more on the left hand, shall we? And try to get a bit more effect out of our charging spears. Principes on the right flank. Hastati. Right, so their right flank is still the strongest with Principes. The Triari. Dealing with the Triari is the big problem. Right. The light cav has been a bit disappointing so far, so I'm going to try and see if I can maybe get a... I want to send them in against the enemy skirmishers, because if I could get those out of the way, that would be a huge win for my own skirmishers. So far, they haven't been very cooperative. That's all. Oh no. I need you to go further ahead, further afield. Ah, disordered already. Nice. Yeah, they're too close to everything else. I don't have any good openings. Velites, unfortunately, are doing their job very well, which is tragic. Right, I'm going to have 2 units of light javelinmen and 2 units of Greek light cavalry hammering that unit of Principes. God willing, it will be enough. I miss the Tarentine cavalry. Come on, I gotta disorganize that damn thing. Not that thing. That thing is largely irrelevant whether or not it gets disorganized. Light archers are slowing the advance of the front, which is nice. Make sure you're focused in on that. Those Principes right there. You can maybe get rid of that unit. Oh, Triari and the Equites are very close by. Probably disorder it at least, which is something. Yeah, there you go. And then they run away. Bravely. Bravely they run away. Ooh. There might be an opportunity here. Oh, God damn it, I still have not disorganized that one unit. I have not disorganized it. No, it will not be disorganized. No matter how much shit I throw at it, The dice gods are simply saying no, 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 no. Alright. Reshuffle the front line a little bit, give the skirmishers a bit more time to try and get something done. The dice gods today, right? Well, the unit of hoplites elected to charge instead of withdrawing, so yes. Wonderful. Absolutely brilliant, in fact. Well, I disordered one of their units with my skirmishers. That's something. It is a thing. But due to the impetuous nature of my useless fucking hoplites, the entire left flank is kind of gone. I doubt the skirmishers will be able to do much there. Okay, they've goaded the Principes away. That is good. We're beginning to win that cavalry fight. That too is good. Oh, God. Yeah, they can just roll up the fucking front line there now. And there ain't shit I can do to stop them, I'm pretty sure. You were supposed to flank that unit, in case you somehow managed to miss that instruction. Which you did! Right, well, the cavalry fight was eventually won. I don't think it's gonna help me much. Oh my god. Idiots! 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 Please, for the third time! There are some control problems remaining. When you order a unit to move to the flanking position to attack, for example, often, annoyingly often, the unit simply kind of just won't. Which is what happened to the veteran Samnites here, where they were supposed to move onto the flank of that unit, never completed that move, and simply sat there, waiting until the fight was over. Not ideal. Right, good job of the Perazoi. Are you going to be in a position to do anything? Possibly. Alright, I am tossing Italian cavalry just kind of into the front of enemy units now, pell-mell, in order to slow them down and stop them. It's not an ideal use of cavalry by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, thank God the veteran Samnite actually made something happen there. Very, very, very good work, Samnites. I regret speaking ill of you all this time. Unfortunately, the AI also decided to reposition one of my units so that it turns its back to an enemy. Okay, cavalry, back in there. Okay, I might be able to sneak out a victory here. Depending on my cavalry. Cavalry and the archer's ability to kind of just keep shooting them might be able to sneak out a win. Possibly. It's gonna be close. Oh God, for the love of Jesus, attack! I have given this order many times now. Please, obey. Ah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that is one thing that does annoy me tremendously. The AI will carry out its orders pretty much flawlessly, because it clearly understands how to, like, tell a unit how to get on another unit's flank and then attack. So it will carry out its orders with basically zero time lag. You know, bearing in mind the courier. But I've experienced many times that when you try to do the same, the units will be like, well, I'm not quite in the right position, and then they'll decide to, instead of moving to the right position to then attack, the unit will simply go, well, I'm just going to ignore that order then, which is mildly infuriating. Especially as it'll take you 10 seconds to reissue that order. So it would be nice to have a system where, a threat range system, kind of like the impetus system, where if your unit is almost in a flanking position to charge an enemy unit, and it receives an order to charge that unit, the unit should simply shuffle slightly to the left and charge. Instead of going like, oh, well, I decided that I'm not actually quite in the arbitrary charge envelope, and so I'm just going to stand here and stare stupidly at my enemy. Oh, boy. I prefer the Carthaginians, okay? The Carthaginians are fun because they can just send out 1,000,000 Numidians to kill the Romans. I prefer that. That is massively preferable. Let's try a fight against the Pyrrhians. Lance and pikemen should not be put in forests. That is a good point. Video game. Now, what do these guys got then? A whole fuckload of javelinmen. Nice, I do like javelinmen. A lot of medium infantry. A lot of medium infantry. Good God. I wish I'd picked a map with more forests on it now. This isn't terrain, is it? No, it's just rocks. Very well. I have decided that I will be camping in the forest today. That's a lot of skirmishers. Ah, the Libyan spearmen. I remember you being shit. Well, it's quite a lot of cavalry. I should be able to make something happen with this amount of cavalry, one would think. Now, excuse me whilst I camp my ass in the woods. That's a lot of heavy infantry that is really not going to enjoy entering the forest after me. Mediums? No, heavies. An assload of pikes. Okay. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Medium infantry love pikes. So long as they can drag them into shitty terrain, that is. And I fully intend to do so. Numidian versus Numidian. An excellent matchup, if I do say so myself. One of the main problems remain black and black violence, after all. So I don't see any problems with that. And sure, just go ahead and engage that armored cavalry right over there. It's not always a great idea to send your general into melee, particularly not in this game. Your general has a nasty habit of being out front and tends to get himself killed in any sort of a prolonged melee, so do bear that in mind. Nice, fragmented. Well, I'd be more than happy to drive off the Numidian cavalry as well. That would be fantastic. Lovely, lovely. The more Numidian cavalry I have, and the less the enemy has, the better. Right, are you breaking loose? Yes, you are. Okay, good. Smash yourself into the flank of that shit then. They've broken off a couple skirmishes to go play with me. That's fine. They're trying to break away the cavalry unit by using the recoil stance. Which is smart. Let's see. Go, my little skirmishers. You should be able to do all kinds of funny things here. Excellent. 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 Yes. Actually, you might as well hunt down their light archers, honestly. Why not? There we go. Right, that's one of their main cavalry units taken care of, and a unit of Numidian cavalry as well. It's a very, very good start. I'm still worried about that smorgasbord of heavy infantry coming my way. Time to get the generals back to the front line. Careful there, little Numidians. Although, it is tempting to hang around here and try to get their general too, isn't it? That's very tempting, isn't it? Yes. Yes, I think it is. I definitely think it is very tempting. No. Don't get goaded by their skirmishers, you little tards. Okay, you return. You help the Numidians. Reorganize the front line. Are you Are you going? Yes, you are. Good. Right. Gotta get a general back, though. Right. The Midians are disengaging. That is excellent. There we go. Alright, skirmishing has gone a hell of a lot better than against the Romans so far. That is 2 enemy units disorganized. And the pikes are heading straight towards the heavy terrain, just as intended. Excellent. Beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Right, time to start hunting skirmishes. Now, cavalry will get, worn down, so, charging all over the place is great, but your dudes will get tired. Your dudes will get very tired. And then they'll get slow, and as they get slow, they get dead. Excellent. A Doman, I like that skirmishing compared to Total War. Oh yes, skirmishing is very important in this game. Skirmishing is probably one of the most important things in the game, because you can't simply just charge the skirmishers with like a unit of infantry as you can in Total War. Here, you actually gotta catch the skirmishers, and the skirmishers themselves obviously are not interested in being caught. Very good, very good. And since they can continuously, move away from the infantry units, which are big and slow, they can be just an enormous pain in the ass. An enormous pain in the ass. And it's very, very good to have some light cavalry to try to deal with them. Right, that unit's already being engaged. Excellent. Oh yeah, these pikes are in deep, 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 deep shit. These pikes are in incredibly deep shit. The deepest of deep shit. Now, I'd like to get my cavalry out of there before the impetuous bastards decide they need to charge some heavy infantry, so let's try to get them out of there too. Uh-oh. This could spell a problem for my general there. Right. Let's start getting the heavy infantry involved. The mediums have done exactly what the mediums needed to do. Excellent. My general did get caught, so his ass is probably grass. Right, recoil mode. Attempt to flee, now. I think I ordered the Gaelic Warband to do that charge, but I guess they elected not to. Right, the right-hand flank is doing beautifully. I don't think I need to worry much about that. I do need to worry about my goals a little bit, though. Oh yeah, the right has, yep. See, again, pikes are fucking scary, but in rough terrain, they are not quite so scary. In fact, in rough terrain, they're gonna end up getting absolutely stomped all over. Those skirmishers are gonna get murdered. Oh well, they're just skirmishers, who cares? This will be an easy victory. Yeah, the Pyrrhics just... the Pyrrhics are just not very good. I feel bad for the Pyrrhics. They're just kind of shit, unfortunately for them. Tragically for the Pyrrhics. Very, 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 very unfortunately for the Pyrrhics. They're just not very good at warfare, apparently. I mean, they've got the light archers. They can kind of skirmish, but... but they don't have enough of them. Because the archers get blocked out by the velites, and so they don't really do anything, and the vaunted hoplites, etc., hoplites and the pikemen, they just don't quite do the job. Honestly, the Samnites have been the best so far, because the veteran Samnite, I mean, they have routed like 2 units on their own. The Samnites are good. Talon Cavalry is, you know, it's doable. It's what it is. Poor little Pyrrhics. Well, I guess that's why they call it a Pyrrhic victory, because they're just not very good at this whole warfare stuff. Well, they got light javelin, Italian cavalry. I mean, the Italian cavalry at least is going to be better than the Equites, I assume. And silly little hoplites. Italian foot veterans. As a replacement for the Principes. It's not a great change, isn't it? No. The Remans are just, they're good enough as it is. They're already Remans. They don't need to do anything else. They're already Remans. Why should they bother? Remans versus Remans. Remans versus Remans. Well, not necessarily a whole lot of tactics to go here. If anything, put the Principes on the right. Astarte on the left, hoping to break through on the right flank. Remans versus Remans. It's all up to the dice gods now. Well, they've got Equites, which means they're very unlikely to start bothering me with cavalry, so I might as well send out the velites. Do you retain the formation when I move you straight forward? I would hope so. That does look pretty cool, though, doesn't it? Lots of remans. Lots of remans. This game really needs a campaign mode so you can build massive armies of remans.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Ah! Screw you! Not that disordering a unit of fucking velites really matters at all, mind you. In the grand scheme of things, that matters not at all. But if I could disorganize one of their main infantry units, that would matter. Right, Triarii. What do we do with you? Do we keep you in reserve, or do we... Or do we charge with you? Oh, disorder. Nice, nice. That is very valuable. Is that a Principe unit? It is. Okay, that's excellent, because that might give my Hastati a decent chance to actually win their fight against one of their Principes. Alright, I seem to be getting the better of the skirmishing end of things, which is nice. Right. Begin preparing our offensive maneuvers. This is a little risky. Oh, God, that unit got destabilized right away, did it? Disordered, disordered. 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 Right, the dice gods are not with me. The dice gods are decidedly not with me. The dice gods have found themselves in abject opposition to me, in fact. My motherfucker, you got one volley of javelins. My fucking word. My fucking word. My fucking word indeed. Right, get into the Triarii just to buy time for me to finish this fight. How on God's good earth have you not been fucking You've got 4 units throwing shit at you! How? 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 How is this a stalemate? Okay, good. Good. Well, this is messy. In case you couldn't tell, this is messy. This is extraordinarily messy. This is just complete and utter fucking wild panic. From one end to the other. Okay, well, if my javelins could all strike that, that would be lovely. Just like in Total War, I would really like a just attack anything you can reach button. That would be fantastic. I really don't want to be attacking Velites with Principes, because that is a massive fucking waste of everybody's time and space, but... Aha! I think I won. Yes, I won. Okay, there you go. Well, that was, certainly very demonstrative of what a civil war is like, as that just kind of became complete madness. With everybody madly trying to find where the fuck they are on the map. I don't even know how I won that. It's just, it happened. That was all. Warfare, as it turns out, is chaotic. H174, Arch, what would you think of something like Total War 40k? Maybe planets as settlements, systems as provinces. I mean, it's not impossible, but Creative Assembly are not very good at thinking outside of the box. Usually. Whenever Creative Assembly has been asked to do something new, like with Empire, Total War, for example, it's usually not worked out particularly well. And shooting combat? Boy. I mean, the Empire Total War engine, the current engine, was specifically designed for ranged combat in mind. Or at the very least to have the opportunity to have good ranged combat as well as melee. And it ended up being able to do neither of them very well. So I'm not convinced that 40k Total War is going to be a very good idea. It's going to be a very good sales idea. It'll sell loads of copies, don't get me wrong, but I suspect it's going to be at best a haphazard game, kind of obviously scrapped together and barely functional, a la Rome 2 on launch. So, there's that. Creative Assembly have many talents, most of which have been lost to the mists of time as they've gone through various corporate restructurings, but making an effective ranged Total War game, I'm not convinced is one of them. Right. That has been a nice, quick little look at Strategos, the demo. The demo of Strategos is available on Steam right now. You can go and check it out. It is intended to release this year, I believe. Let me have a check. Yep, 2025. It is being released by Microprose Software, who picked up the developer. No plans for a grand campaign mode at the moment, from last I heard, and no plans for multiplayer. So the biggest drawback of this game, quite simply, is that it's gonna have very, very limited replayability. You're basically going to be fighting skirmish games, and campaigns that are a series of skirmish games, and that's about it. I am hoping, however, that this combat system will eventually get the same treatment as the Fields of Glory combat system, where it gets a add-on campaign system. So the Field of Glory games got Field of Glory Empires and Field of Glory Medieval, which is a grand campaign game that can use the other game to resolve its combat. It's a weird and wonky way of doing it, and you would prefer both systems to be in the same goddamn game for obvious reasons, but monetary limitations, I suppose, in essence, as this game would benefit enormously from a campaign to give you a reason to care for your units and give you a bit of a investment in their well-being. I hope it does. I very much so hope it does, because I love the combat, and it is so much more interesting than the Total War game. So much more interesting. So I really hope they, dedicate themselves to it and get a more fleshed out game eventually, as the combat is already very good. Until next time, chat. I will see you all again tomorrow with the Archcast. Have a good night, chat.